As international tension simmered this week over Taiwan, the Pacific Ocean saw a not-so-subtle display of Allied military solidarity, one that included a Canadian frigate. A joint military exercise off the Japanese island of Okinawa this past weekend brought together 3 Western aircraft carrier strike groups and a Japanese helicopter carrier that's now able to launch F-35 stealth fighters. The assembly, which included 17 ships from 6 different countries, sent an unmistakable message to China. In an exclusive interview, the commander of the United Kingdom Carrier Strike Group 21, or CSG-21, task force told CBC News that the one-day exercise was a demonstration of solidarity and of how Western allies can work seamlessly together. It's an important message for those here that nations like ourselves really do believe in the freedom of navigation, in the freedom of trade, and really are alarmed at the militarization of the area, said Royal Navy Commodore Steve Morehouse. He said he has no doubt that the message was understood. Chinese intelligence-gathering vessels were in the region, he said. So I have absolutely no doubt the message would have been relayed back to China quite quickly. The exercise was a milestone in several ways. Since the end of the Second World War, the Japanese have not possessed aircraft carriers, and their military has maintained a defensive posture. Last weekend's fighter jet trial saw a U.S. Marine F-35B land on and take off from the helicopter carrier JS Izumo, making it a de facto fixed-wing aircraft carrier. The exercise was also one of the largest gatherings of aircraft carriers in the Pacific in decades. The Canadian frigate was edged in beside and escorting HMS Queen Elizabeth, the Royal Navy's newest aircraft carrier, which is on a world tour. I've been in the Navy for 20 years and I have never been in such a showcase of naval power, said Leighton. The British have been largely absent from the Pacific Ocean for nearly 2 decades. Morehouse said the Royal Navy has been relearning how to operate in that vast expanse. The voyage is helping to lay the groundwork for the semi-permanent stationing of 2 British warships in the region, he added. It was reported late Thursday by international media that a U.S. nuclear submarine that was not part of the large exercise collided over the weekend with an unknown object while submerged in the South China Sea. It was not clear what caused the incident on Saturday, but American officials said the USS Connecticut remains fully operational. The accident injured 11 sailors. While the exercise was taking place, China's People's Liberation Army Air Force was in the midst of a series of sorties into Taiwan's air defense zone. Over several consecutive days, some of Beijing's most advanced fighters and bombers skirted the disputed island's actual airspace within the buffer zone around it. As many as 150 planes took part in the incursions. The flights started on Friday, China's National Day, and were described by the U.S. State Department as provocative and destabilizing. Many experts said the timing of the flights was not surprising, but the number of warplanes involved was. Julie Clark, a fellow with the Canadian Global Affairs Institute, said Beijing likely felt compelled to put a forceful display after the recent announcement of a security arrangement involving the US, the UK and Australia, which will see the latter acquire nuclear submarine technology. China pushes back. The incursions seem to be a strong message to the West, particularly to the United States, with some of their recent moves with strategic security alliances to indicate they're not a country in which they can be pushed around, said Clark. On Wednesday, it was announced that the presidents of the US and China will hold a virtual summit later this year. Clark said that event will be a very important opportunity to reduce the growing tensions in the region. Many of China's neighbors have been rattled by Beijing's military buildup and provocative actions, but equally, Clark said, those countries are being given a stark choice as Allied military displays become more noticeable.